Oh man, dude, and well, first and foremost, everybody who's watching will watch and has yet to even been born to watch this podcast. Welcome to the smoking section. I'm here with Mafioso himself, the man of the Swarm brand, Vegas representing. My brother, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I cannot complain. Um, things could always be better, but things could always be worse. I'm sitting on an
Absolutely.
internet connection and I am on a live stream on a podcast. So what's there to be, what's there to complain about? So
Yeah, when people ask me nowadays too, there's like, how are you doing? Is everything all right? It's like, well, I could complain, but who's really going to listen? You know? So I just keep it trucking, dude. I had one foot in front of the other and I keep it moving. Uh
one
but
day at
yeah,
a
dude,
time.
thank you. Yeah, bro. Yeah, oh my god. But dude, again, thank you. I know we were chopping it up a little bit in the green room. Thank you for being here. I know we have touched about trying to set this up and trying to get this going. So I am very thankful that we're here now and that I have a chance to truly sit down and talk with you, man, outside of a Facebook comment section or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, bro. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate you having me.
My man. So for everybody who will watch this or is watching, kind of explain who you are, what you do, and then we'll take off from there.
To give a quick synopsis, I'm a dancer, I'm a roller skater, I'm a husband, I'm a father, uh, all of that, and I'm a designer. All of that ties into Swarm, which Swarm stands for Soldier with a Ready Mind. Um, it started off as a clothing brand, but it developed into a multitude of things. Um, and yeah, that's what I represent, and that's who I am. How I got there was I was born in Chicago, grew up in Vegas. I started roller skating probably around the age of 12 and 13. Before that, I was aggressive rollerblading and I was also aggressive skateboarding. So like I would like literally skateboard like 7, 8 miles to a skate park and like in the late 90s and literally go skateboard for hours at a time on the weekends. Um, I was in high school sneaking out at night, going to graffiti the walls downtown Vegas, east side of Vegas, and that was what I was doing in high school. And hip hop raised me. And then after I got out of high school, I found Krump in about 2005, and life changed, man. um, Krump really blessed me and took me around the world for a season of my life. And then I went on a self reflection journey, probably from 2017 to 2019, when I first built Swarm Brand. Met my wife. She took the vision on with me, and we've been building it ever since, man.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And what a journey indeed. So let me rewind because I didn't know this. Um f- what was it like? What was that journey or how did you make that jump from Chicago to Vegas?
I was 6 years old. My
Mhm.
grandmother moved out here in 1990, moved out to Vegas, and I was still in Chicago. So I was 4 years old. From the age of 4 to about the age of 5.5, I was begging my mom to see my grandmother. That's what my mom tells me. And so we took a bus out here early, like late 91. 6 months later, we like dropped everything and moved out here. My mom did. My mom found a partner out here and was like really interested in somebody and could see herself building a life out here that's different than what it was in Chicago. So she was like, let's do it. And it was just me and her. My mom's a single mom. So
Mm.
we moved to Vegas. I started first grade out here. Um, I went to middle school out here. I went to high school out here. And in high school, my first actual dancing, like training, was the six step in breakdancing. Um, the wobble, the
Oh
sea,
man.
and I learned how to like do like the electric slide because this was like all a part of like the junior high dance team that
Yeah.
it was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the thing. And then like during this time, culture shock was a thing in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that, but like when I was like eighth grade, people knew about culture shock. But what people didn't understand is you had to have money to go to culture shock.
Yes.
I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up with anything. My mom gave me $10 and told me, "Hey, across this wall, there's a skating rink. Take your rollerblades and go across the wall. You got $10, 6 to get in, 4 to eat. Figure it
Yep.
out." So okay, they had a 7 to 7. I was going all night, all the time.
Yeah, man. And to even think like because I came traditionally from the like the choreo space, and
Mm-hmm.
there's so many young cats who are obsessed with this team, with a brotherhood and GRV, and they don't understand all roads point and lead back to culture shock. They are such a powerhouse and lengthy history behind them,
Yeah. At
they're
least when
really
it comes
one
to
of those.
at least when it comes to the commercial hip hop space, you get what I'm saying? Like, or like
Mhm.
just in general, training some of the greats. Like nobody really knows, but Jabberwockies comes from Culture Shock SD.
Yes, culture shock SD, yes sir. uh, I think I think the one I think the real one time I got to experience the dance scene out in Vegas, they had well actually there was two times. There was Prelude that they hosted
Okay.
out there one year and we went out there and performed. And then WAD. WAD did a WAD Vegas. And I
Which
had a
one?
chance to God, WAD Vegas. This had to have been
It was pre-pandemic. I know that.
yeah, this had to have been 2016. I want to say, because I know my son wasn't born yet. And so it had to have been either 2015 or 2016.
Okay. I was at
um,
both. So
oh, snap, dude. Yeah, I competed there with a team called the Faction, and we did a Krump piece that was made by Yaya. Shout out Yaya. Um, and we wore red hats, and I don't know why that sticks out to me so hard, but it's like those stupid red hats pissed me off so bad because it was like we were wearing black, and I just feel like they stuck out so crazy. But yeah, it was a real pleasure and a really different vibe that you get from everybody, like as a team collective dancing in such like extreme weather because it was hot.
mhm.
And so
It's a different
so
way.
yeah,
It's a different way to dance.
oh bro, oh, I remember training in the sauna at the gym here, and people would always be like looking at me hella weird, and it's like, oh, I'm practicing for a competition. It's in Vegas, and I know we're going to be practicing during the day, so I need to get ready. uh so you come to Vegas, jump from Chicago to Vegas, young age, right? You're going through the school years. From at what point was it that you said, I'm gonna like what was it? What was the catapult moment that then launched you into the Krump scene? Because that's where I know you from. What like was
Yes.
there somebody who dragged you to a session? Were you another one of, oh, I watched Rise and just copied and pasted what I saw on YouTube? What was it?
Well, one thing that I went to high school from 2001 to 2005.
You aged yourself right now hella hard, but it's all right.
I'm not worried about it, bro. I'm 40. I just turned 40 and I look good for 40, so I'm not
Yes,
tripping.
sir, you do.
So, when I was in high school, there was a thing called the Sigma Beta Club. The Sigma Beta Club was a high school fraternity for Phi Beta Sigma, which is African American fraternity from all of those. Like Miho is Omega Psi Phi. That's one of them.
Okay.
So like frats were really big in Vegas in the early 2000s. So, and obviously all those movies came out, Stomp the Yard, all of those frat
Mm-hmm.
movies came out, like Drumline, all of that stuff was, so it was really big. So I got into Sigma Beta Club first and I learned how to step. That was like my first actual introduction to dance. Now I knew how to like groove and dance because my uncle and my mother consistently danced in my house. Like my mom was playing Whitney Houston growing up every Saturday morning. I was watching cartoons in my room, but I heard Whitney Houston in the background and like Sade, like Cher, like all of those
Mm.
like 90 late 90s, early like 2000s artists, she was playing them. And same thing with the 80s. Like when you see any of the videos that I post of me dancing to like old school music, it's because that's what I grew up on. And that's what's literally gonna make me move in my most natural way because that's how I started. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
literally just walk around the house and like move around. And then I met my friend Akeem in middle school. My friend Akeem taught me how to wave very first. He taught me how to like literally do the finger wave to the shoulder all the way through. And
Mm-hmm.
then that was like the very first like dance move I learned in middle school. And then like I said, he taught me how to do the wobble. He taught me how to do like I was clown walking with him. We were in high school, freshman year of high school, battling. Like I have a video on my Facebook of like freshman year of high school, 2001, battling somebody at the cafeteria. Like literally huge t-shirts, huge like we're 2000s it up, bro. And so from there, we're already hearing about Krump through the grapevine. We're going to like house parties and people are crumping. So we're not like hip to it, but we know what's going on. We can hear people talking about it. We can see people. Vegas was small at that time. Like there was like early 2000s. So you're talking about like maybe maybe 12, 15 high schools at that time in Vegas. There wasn't
Mm-hmm.
a lot. So the reality was is that we all knew each other through some way, shape, or form. Like I knew some of the Vegas Krump OGs through the Sigma Beta Club. Some of
Oh,
them were
nice.
like it was like a lot of the high school people knew each other like through the grapevine. You know, you might see them at the mall, but they went to a whole different high school than you. But you knew them because they were a part of the Sigma Beta Club, and you seen them on Saturdays at the meetings. So you would say hi. So it was a huge connection of people. Then about 2005, I moved up to the south side of Vegas, and I met a guy named Josh Franklin. And Josh Franklin, now mind you, Akeem taught me how to wobble and like sea walk and like clown walk. But then when I went up to the south side of Vegas in 2005, Josh Franklin, I met him at Silverado High School, and he introduced me to a Krump session. Which what happened was is we went to Perry Street, which Perry Street, if you know Vegas Krump, Perry Street is like OG Vegas Krump. Like they had Perry Street sessions because there was a movie theater called Sam at Samstown, which is a like a casino. You walk down Perry Street and there was a trash can, and somebody would park in front of the trash can and light it up with their lights and play music out the trunk of their car. And there would be about 100 people there, like insane, bro. And people are just crumping. Cops would come every time, and then we would move over. You would see a flock of people walking up Flamingo, which is the normal street. It's like a three street highway. So you see a flock of people walking up Flamingo to the Wiener Schnitzel because that was the second location. So if Perry
Mm-hmm.
Street got blocked off, we would all meet up at Wiener Schnitzel and continue the battles. And that was
Mm-hmm.
every Friday.
Man.
Yeah. And then I started going to those, saw Rise, and I was hooked. By 2007, I went to a slaughterhouse event in Cali, and I went to one of the Krump arenas in 2000.
Whoa.
And then I was at Cage 3.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was at Cage. I was baby crewed under Crush at Cage 3
I did not know that.
in 2008. I drove with his
Wow.
mom in the back of a van all the way to Cali.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know, but my roots go pretty deep. I've been in the game for a minute.
Yeah, and that was so for people who don't know who will be listening, the Slaughterhouse and some of these events, Krump Arena, were staple events that that Krump, when you look back the Krump lineage, so many of our very seasoned veterans and OGs, like actual originators of the style, not only put together, they were the headliners, they were all littered throughout the battle cards,
Yep.
and they were the ones putting this together. The Cage 3 specifically is, I think, regarded as
One of
the
the
best.
pinnacle one of the pinnacle events of Crump. That's
Like,
when everybody thought Hitman was going to be Tight Eyes.
yeah,
Everybody.
there was, there was the, oh my God, yeah, Hitman versus Tie Dyes is, to understand, even just to understand that for people who don't know, look up J Tie Dyes Krump and look for a dude who's got a really big afro and look for the year to be
Like
2006
something.
ish,
Yeah.
7-ish, single digits, okay?
Yeah.
And the dude was just insane and really brought something different
Mhm.
during his era of his run in Crump. The cage itself, as its entirety, you had iconic moments. Outrage versus ER, rest in peace. Iconic moment. You had the onlys who popped out, right? The only little tight eyes versus the old little tight eyes, right? And if people who keep up with the style see that these things keep changing and they keep moving, but this was a time that it found its place in history. God, Rascal, shout out Rascal, displaying the monster style at a cage, and dudes were battling for Krump King spots, and it was just
That's when
foolishness.
Knucklehead got his big break there too.
Yeah, so yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man,
Then it was
some of these,
Knucklehead versus Beat Ass versus Rascal.
yes, yeah,
Beat Ass. A lot of people don't know, but that's where that hat slide first came from. The people
mm,
that put the hat on the floor and then they slide it on their foot.
yeah,
That first came from B Dash doing that at the KS3. That's the first time I ever seen it, at least in dance.
dude, it's so crazy too how some of those little quirky moves, they just take on a new life when somebody sees them. You see
Yeah,
50 other people do them their own ways. What
yeah.
was the hat catch with the chin pass, right? Like
Oh, bro,
everybody did
people
that
still
in
do
Crump
that.
for like 3 years.
Yeah, same thing with the pulling the hat
Pulling out
out
the
the
shirt.
fucking shirt and then
Yeah.
elbow out your shirt. I'm like, dude, bro, stop.
So from seeing, because I want to kind of dabble in this space for a sec. So from seeing Crump to the first time, right, in a personal moment for myself, I was even telling you in the green room, like, like crack, bro. I watched the arc. I want to say that was 2015 was the
Yes,
one
that
I
was the
saw.
first
The
part.
he, that song by Morph, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
called The Master,
Yeah,
and
it
Ruin
made the
versus
whole
Concrete,
event.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
That whole event was, I mean, Wave versus Rap, the shoe grab, boom, and then he banged out, like, whoa, bro. So from there to there, how does Mafioso get to the arc? Like, how does that even, was there a moment where you're like, yo, I really like this thing, I'm gonna dig my heels in a little bit? Was it like being at the cage? Was it getting under Crush that was like, hey, maybe I'm gonna take this a little more? Because we can even talk about this too for a second, in a second. Throwing an event is no small feat. You don't
No,
just put a flyer out and people come. There's a lot of legwork that goes behind that. So where, was there a moment, or was there a certain a certain instance that was like, hey, I'm actually going to do this thing and do it this way?
Um, the moment I got into Krump, I already was a dancer. Let's just state that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was a sophomore in high school, and I performed at on Ellen as a
Whoa.
roller skater. So I was already in a performance aspect of like Krump, not Krump, but like dancing. And so when I met Krump, it gave me something different. I didn't have to perform anymore. I could legitimately just be. That's
Mm.
what I first felt in the dance. And then on top of that, it was like a crazy community out here. Everybody knew each other, everybody beefed with each other, but everybody was like low key friends at the same time. Like they all grew up together. A lot of us went to high school, different high schools, but we were all representing Krump in our own little circles. So I think I threw my first Krump session in 2008, bro, after I came back from the Case 3. I rented
Yeah.
out a studio. It's funny because you can confirm this with San Antonio Krump. There's a studio out. I don't know if it's San Antonio. I don't remember exactly what city in Texas it is, but there's a Smash Studios in Texas that originally was in Las Vegas. And for real, which is he lives in Virginia now, but he's Laxus X. And he was the teacher at Smash Studios. And we threw a session at Smash Studios, and all of the creators came. I think the only one that didn't come that night was Tight Eyes, but Miss Prissy was there, Slayer was there, Lil C was there, Miho was there. Um,
Ooh.
the the crazy part about it is the fams that battled that night, the Vegas fams that battled that night, was the No Jokes versus the Roughs, and they were the two heaviest fams in 2005.
Whoa.
So that was the session that I went to. That was one of the sessions that like introduced me to Krump, which it's insane. I'm in a dance studio room that's probably 400 square foot with 45, 50 people. And mind you, the people that are dancing are like the creators of this shit. So
Mm.
I'm like blown away. So then I go to the Case 3 and I'm like, okay, there's got to be something we can do more for Vegas, because we were battling like at that time when I first came into Krump, there was like the boxing ring events, which the boxing ring events were like this guy named Big Buck would throw a boxing ring event where we would go into the boxing ring and we would battle each other. There was crazy battles that happened there. But then he passed away, and then there was a church that we were all going to that would like let us throw sessions at the church. But the church was like 4 buses. Like we had to take 4 buses to get to this church, like city buses to get to the church so we can go to the session. So I was like, all right, we're gonna throw sessions on like our side of town. And so I started like just going to the park with a radio. We would literally take a like 4 speaker radio with like, remember, this is early 2000s. So we didn't have Bluetooth. We were
Mm-hmm.
bringing CDs.
Oh my god.
That's crazy to think about, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like we were literally driving a car with a radio in the back, pull the radio out, plug the radio in, put the CD in, and we literally would play the track over and over again.
And me and one of the boys on another podcast that I did, we were talking about literally how in today's age, we even within the last 20 years, we saw, the iPod shuffle. Then
Mm-hmm.
you had the big iPods. And
Mm-hmm.
then where are those? And then even you go back not many years even from that, they were
Mm-hmm.
selling you CD players that said won't skip. You can put it in your pocket and it won't skip the CD ever. And my son could not just grasp that concept of, what do you mean it skips? It goes to like the next song. It's like, no, it's on the same song. And the CD is literally scratching inside this mug because it's
Yeah.
bouncing around and it can't pick it
Dude,
up.
I took my son to a Savers.
Mm.
No, a Goodwill. And I bought him a CD, like a CD player. And his mom had some old burned CDs, and we let him play with it.
Mm.
And he was astonished, bro.
You're
He was
blasting the
like, "This is the
past,
most
Dad.
cool." He was like, "This is the coolest thing ever." I was like, "All right, cool." We got like this little. It's a little Nintendo NES, like a small little like, but you plug it into the TV, and it's got like 700 games from like the like a ladies and early 90s,
Oh yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
and
yeah,
we play
yeah.
that all the time. So I'm on that Ninja Turtle game consistently. The one where they're like on the side and they do this on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Oh
So,
man.
but yeah, so what really to answer your question, I know we got off on a tangent, but to answer your question is like what really like made me want to take Krump serious was the energy I felt within the dance. Like I said, I
Mm.
popped. I did choreo. I did roller skating choreo. I performed. I still have yet to get a feeling that I've felt when I'm in a live moment and every person in the building is going crazy because of something that I thought of in my head and made it physically happen.
Hmm.
No other dance style can give me that.
Describe that feeling. Can you describe that feeling real quick of for somebody who might not know what live is? Like what is live for
Um,
you?
it's the biggest adrenaline rush you've ever experienced in life. The moment you go up, because obviously we know as Krump dancers that study the craft, live goes up. So when you go up and you get to a point and you come back down and you look at everybody and you're like, oh, y'all are going crazy because of what I just did. Oh, let me continue. And then it just goes crazy even more. You've been
Yeah.
in it, man. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
The feeling you get when you hit liveness in a Krump session or a Krump battle or anything of the sort is it, there's no explaining it, man. You have to feel like it. I don't know. Maybe somebody more eloquent than in the dance style than me can, but to me, I've trained a lot of people in Krump. Like one of my recent little homies is like pretty like solid right now. He's been battling a lot, like Lil Mafioso OMG,
Yes.
and he's outside like heavy. And I when he first came about, he could tell you himself like he didn't tell me what liveness was. He told me it's something you have to create. And the moment he started creating it, he was like, "Oh, I get you now." And it's just something you have to experience. So
Yeah, shout out OMG because
that's my
I had
bro.
a little dude, yeah, I had a little homie that was living in Vegas for a bit and they linked
Yeah,
up.
I remember him.
Yeah, man, they linked up pretty tight, dude, and uh Zariel was going, you know, he's pretty open about this, but he was having a tough time with the move and stuff. And so that the fact that he fell into a safe space, right, with people who were like really, at least dance wise, was like really trying to link up and be there for him, you know what I mean? That was so shout out to little homie,
Yeah,
man. It's dope people.
OMG's the bro. He always is very open to talk to people. He's really big on community, man. He specifically dances because he loves the community aspect of it, and
Yeah.
he that's why I put him in the crew. That's why he's in the fam, and we just been good friends like for freaking almost 3 years now. So
That's dope, man. So you experience like even for people at home, there's one thing, you can go to a popping session or you could play football, right? Basketball. And you can hit shots and stuff and you can have a good game. But there's something I feel that we get to benefit from being such a young dance style because the person who created basketball is long gone. The
yeah,
person who first innovated, the game of soccer and in all of its iterations is gone now. Um,
hmm
we are so blessed. The people themselves as the person, the jury's still out on that verdict, but them as the dancer, having them in the room with you and not only dancing in front of them and having them hype you up or yell all the good cheers, that's a certain feeling. But just observing with your naked eye, like the thing come out of them, I get that. I can get that inspiration, bro. um
oh yeah,
and so that leads you to doing, the arc.
No,
And
no. There's many things in between me hosting my first Krump session to getting to the arc.
so
Me
give me a
hosting
couple.
me hosting my Krump session is in 2008. The arc didn't happen
Mm.
until 2015. That's a
So
7-year gap.
what was the moment, because that's what I'm trying to get my thumb on is what was the moment where you were like, yeah, an event, because a session is
So this
still
is
a big chunk,
yes.
but
So
what
this is
was
what happened. I started throwing like small things. Like, mind you, I was a huge. I call it a. I was a huge Bible thumper at this time. I'm talking
mm-hmm,
like I was heavily in church 4 days a week. And mind you, still believe Jesus is real. Still believe He's God in the flesh. I still believe in Him wholeheartedly. I
mm-hmm,
just believe in a different understanding of what I have to do as a human
mm-hmm,
instead of the religious aspect of I have to follow these rules.
mm-hmm,
That's I've came to understanding of like if I say the F word, I or if I, you know, fall short, I'm not I'm not gonna go to hell. Like you get what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? Like I've came to that understanding of like, okay, he loves me that much to where I can't mess up. It doesn't make me want to mess up, but ultimately I'm human and he understands that. So,
yes,
but during this time of 2008, I started throwing Krump sessions. Also, I committed a crime in my personal life. So I was like going through a lot in my personal life at that time. 20, 2009, I'm under Knucklehead. And then I ended up getting dropped from being under Knucklehead because at that time it was popular. God told me to drop you. So you get
mm,
dropped because whatever reason. It doesn't matter. But that was the reason that I was told. And me and Joey laugh about that crap all the time. But then I end up under Simeon. And mind you, throughout this whole time from 2006 to 2012, my Krump name is actually Gimmick.
okay,
So Gymik. Gifted
gimmick,
young mind in King's safety with an S. Gimmicks.
gimmicks,
Right.
okay, okay,
So in 2012, I changed my name from Gimmicks to Mafioso, being more of my heritage as a human. I'm Italian and Mexican. My family comes from Chicago. They were all in the mafia and the mob.
mm,
So it made sense for me to be a mafia boss as a Krump character because I'm taking my personal life and my personal experiences and bringing it into Krump. So as I grew in 6 years into Krump, now I'm learning how to build an actual persona and a style. And mind you, it was just about that time when tie-dye started teaching everywhere the actual like physical Krump style. Everybody was banging out and everybody was doing stuff, but we were only getting things from DVDs before that. Tie-dye
yeah,
didn't teach his very first workshop in the US until he taught at HHI in 2013.
yep,
People don't really understand that. You had
yep,
to be at his house or you had to be around somebody to be able to learn like the actual style of Krump, or you were getting secondhand information from multiple different people. Like we had Crush in Vegas and that was amazing. So we learned a lot very quickly. But then if you remember, there was a time frame where Crush and Eyes weren't cool.
yep,
So, ultimately we all know where the top of the line information came from. And in the early Krump game, it was very hard to get tracks and that information. Now it's open source to everybody. You can
yeah,
literally write proof on Instagram and be like, hey, can I take a private from you? And he will literally teach you what you need to know.
yes,
That it wasn't available to do that in the very beginning. So then in 2012, we built one round in 2012 and we hosted the first event in 2013. And the reason that the ARC and the EBS qualifier came about, and I say this publicly all the time, is because in 2013, me and Crooks, which is he goes by Dirty Buck now, Brandon Kinchin,
mm-hmm,
he he was Baby B Dash for a very long time, and me and him won a dance event, an All Styles event called Neon in 2013 in Vegas. With that win came $1,000 and a trip to Germany to compete in the very first Fusion concept.
whoa,
And when
whoa,
I was in the Fusion concept, when we were out there, we were with a member from A Team, because that was the crew that
Mm-hmm.
hosted it. A Team LV. And Swift, we were watching the EBS, because mind you, it was around the same time. So we were watching EBS happen, and because we were in Berlin and EBS was on the other side. So we were watching it, and I was like, looked at Crooks, and I was like, we need to do what they did. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, it might be a long shot, but we need to do an EBS qualifier in USA. And I said
Yes.
it in Germany while we were watching it right before we went to the Fusion Concept. And then 2 years later, we did it and we made it happen. And we talked, I contacted Kid Eyes, I made it happen. And then that's when Jay Beast won it.
Whoa. Again, for people who might not know, Fusion Concept is roughly, I would say, roughly considered the granddaddy event of
Europe.
international hip hop dancing. You want the cream of the crop. I know in today's age, a lot of people are on this whole, Red Bull dancer style. Love your Red Bull, whatever. Uh, psych, but Fusion Concepts was like you really find the whether it's teams or the solo battlers, you really find the A tier and S tier dancers there. Uh, Too
Yeah.
crazy to be in Germany because EBS hosted in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Um, shout out Kid Eyes and all y'all Snipes, who's always been down with them too. Shout out you guys and what you guys are doing out there. Again, considered one of the top tier, world Krump championships
Yeah.
of our community. And so crazy, bro, because I've told I haven't told this to many people because it hasn't happened much ever in my life. But there's been very few times where I was somewhere that I wanted to be. And there was specific moments where I was like, I was in the place where I worked so hard to be, got there, but wanted to be somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like this weird feeling like, damn, you almost kind of forget, like, but wait, I did all this to get here, but I want to be over there right now because I see it and something magical is happening over there. Not many times that's ever happened, but I can so relate with that feeling of like, yo, that's, you lay your eyes on the EBS happening and be like, yo, something's going to cook from this. I like, this is happening right now. That's
And
insane.
really how it happened was is I didn't understand the thought process of buying somebody else a plane ticket and
Mm-hmm.
thinking that that was capable, and setting up a contract and being able to like, hey, we're going to buy the plane ticket. Because really what happened was is I hit Kid Eyes up and I was like, yo, we can afford the plane ticket. We're going to give him prize money. But you like, can you cover like getting him like a place to stay? Like he'll bring money, but can he get into the event for free, like as a guest? Like it was really figuring out how to package it, because that's a lot of Crump's problems, to be totally frank with you. It's the packaging that's the problem. We get the packaging right now, and then when we get to the event, it's running 2 hours late. The
Mm-hmm.
special guests are not on time. The judges aren't looking because some of them drank a little bit before they got there and they're a little tipsy. Like I've experienced all three of those things at events I've been at. And so ultimately, when when you package something correctly and you do cross your T's and you dot your I's, there's no doubt it's going to be successful. And that's what I learned the first two events we threw, because a lot of people don't know the ARC was the final form. There was two events
Yeah.
before that. There was the one round event, which was in 2013. You could see it on the same YouTube channel. And then there was the one round event 2014. Both of those events, we lost money.
Yeah.
Like I remember sitting with Kevin and being like, dang, I'm junior concrete at this time. And I'm like, dang, man, like I don't have enough money to pay you after the event. And he's
Damn.
like, what, bro, just get it to me when you can. And then a month or two later, he got a payment. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
which most people do like net 30 nowadays or net 60. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of these events you go under and you have to recoup.
Yeah.
So these events aren't profitable. But the arc was the biggest one that we did. And the main reason that we did it was because the style versus style wasn't there yet. Yeah, we did the arc tournament, but a lot of people forget that Freak Sinatra battled Todd Eyes, a breakdancer versus a crumper at that event. And that was the very
Yep.
first style versus style exhibition. Like, and that literally led on to what people do now when they
Mm-hmm.
book exhibitions, because they're booking style versus style now consistently. But in 2015, you can look up the YouTube channel, Tie Dyes versus Freak Sinatra. We actually like lost some of the footage, and I was so mad because Freak Sinatra, like, there was like bars like next to like both sides, and Freak Sinatra like did like a pose, like a sideways pose on the bars, and it was like a low key kill off, and he did it to a Krump track.
Dude.
It was like
Yeah.
back, and then Hot Eyes came back, and it was like there was a whole section where we missed because the cameras died, and we had to go get another camera. But ultimately, that was, some people in Vegas tell me that that was like the best part of their like experience in Krump, and that's, I take that to heart every day, man, because that's all I wanted to do with it. I just wanted to, me and 6 other people sat in October of 2012 in our church, and we were like, we just want to build something bigger for Vegas. Like, we're tired of just sessioning. There's, at
Yeah.
that time there was the Realm happening in LA, and a lot of us were just trying to be in Street Kingdom. So we were like, forget trying to be in Street Kingdom. We're gonna build our own thing. And then that's when me and Brandon thought of the name One Round. And it was like, this is gonna give us a stat. Like, we have to do it in one round. Like, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what. That was kind of like, I only need one round. Like, that was the motto. You know what I'm saying? And so we built it from 2012, and then if we when we won in July of 2013 to go to Europe in September, like, that was the defining moment. That was like, okay, now I have international spotlight. Like, I can kind of do something with this. Like, different. I was already teaching local studios. I was already teaching in after school programs. Like, from 2008 to 2012, when I built One Round, when we started building One Round, I was already teaching locally in Las Vegas. So a lot of people don't understand that. When we built One Round, I already knew how to teach a class, like, structurally. I knew how to
Mm-hmm.
put a class together. I knew how to put a curriculum together. I knew how to lead a dance team. I knew how to do these things already. So when I started leading One Round, I kind of just had to figure out, okay, now I'm dealing with a different type of dance team. And then we had dues. That's how we paid for the events, was dues. We each paid
Mm-hmm.
dues every month. And then the next year in 2013, we were able to throw an event. The t-shirts, we literally started selling them because we were like, okay, we could buy a t-shirt for $7 and we could sell it for 20. That's a profit. We could put that back into the event. It's literally all we did all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When Suave became a part of the crew and he became like one of the leaders, we would consistently communicate like, yo, what can we do to make this better? Yo, what can we do to make this better? Like, how can we thought of like programs that we can bring more crumpers in, like all of that. And we were doing that in like 2014.
Yeah, there's such an interesting history now that I'm really getting really getting a chance to sit and talk with you, man. And it so much gets lost in translation with most of our communications, right? Like, as a community, most of the communications are happening via Facebook
Comment sections.
comment sections, right? And
That's why I started my podcast too, bro. I give you credit for this because I'm not going to get to know people if I don't have a conversation with them.
for real, for real. Yes, and even I mean, because this is honestly a perfect way, us as fathers, right? I I now look at adults as like my babies will one day be them. You are
Mm-hmm.
just nothing but a oversized, overgrown baby who still has a mommy, you still have a daddy, you still, you still like eating your ice cream a certain way, and you still have your favorite seat that if you don't
Yeah.
sit there, dinner doesn't taste right, right? You still have your
Mhm.
favorite cup, and you're just a baby, right? And some of these things we haven't had and with kids, we got to talk to them sometimes to really understand why they are having this meltdown in aisle 6 at the damn grocery store. Like, buddy, it's not that. What is going on with you? And
Yeah.
you really have to talk and talk and talk and really get down to the bottom of things, you know?
Mhm.
Um yeah, bro. So even for yourself, right? You've gotten, so from you go from Chicago, Vegas, you're doing skateboarding and blading and all the things which I do want to swing back into too, because I saw one of your videos that were insane. Um, yeah, start hitting Krump, and you're hitting not only Krump sessions, like premier stuff that a lot of people around the world to this day will still have their debates of, no, this is the greatest event, no, this one was the greatest event, and you named some that are just always in those conversations.
Mhm.
Now you fast forward and you've became a father. How did that make you step back from the motion of the events and trying to
Well,
be at the sessions? Did it push you harder into it? What was that transition like?
well, first, from the age of 20 to the age of 30, which is 2006 to 2016, I was with one woman
Mm-hmm.
all of my adult life. At the age of 30, I stopped living a double life. So I was very unhappy in a marriage for probably 3 years of my life. I didn't tell no one. No one in one round knew. Nobody knew. Slowly
Mm-hmm.
but surely, I started coming out with like a lot of like anger and guilt and resentment that I had in my life. I felt like I was living for everybody else. I stopped living for myself for a very long time. And so that compelled me to make some dumb decisions in my relationship with my ex-wife. We were separated, but I did do something stupid. So I was upfront with it. I came out and moved on. A lot of people didn't like how quickly I moved on, which bled into Krump because my ex-wife was very involved in my Krump life because she watched me grow in Krump,
Mm-hmm.
um, which then that broke in some friendships. A lot of rumors got spread around about me from 2016 to 2018. I took a humongous break from like actually being at Krump events, and I literally engulfed myself in my brand, which 2016, one round was dismantled.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally decided as a crew to just move our separate ways, and everybody started doing their own thing. I still own any of the designs because I created all of them, or I paid for somebody to create them. So that's why you see some like revamp of something from one round force from Swarm Brand because
Mm-hmm.
I own them. I'm gonna use them if I want to use them. So, but then the Swarm Brand S, you know that three lines, and you make the S.
Yes.
You know that drawing from way back in the day. So I made an S that was similar to that, and I literally drew it out on Illustrator, and I made the logo. And I was like, Swarm was a dance name of mine, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make this into a clothing brand.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when Swarm built. So from 2016 to 2018, I started building Swarm Brand. I started really building like the entity, like what you see the Believe shirt with the two E's. You see
Yeah.
the Good shirt. Like the reason you see those shirts is because those were sayings that I had to tell myself because I got divorced, started dating somebody else. After starting dating somebody else, they ended up doing the same thing I did to my ex-wife to me,
Mm-hmm.
which put me to a downward spiral. I almost actually, I'm gonna say this publicly. I actually don't think I've ever said this publicly, but I almost killed myself in literally in 2018, and then life shifted, and then I was single for a very long time, And that's when I worked on myself. And I worked on myself for about 2 years. From literally from I went from the moment I'm getting divorced to the middle of 2018. I was working on myself. And middle of 2018, I finally was like, I forgave myself for what I did and what I imparted into all of my problems, and I moved on from everything. I couldn't hold on to the resentment anymore of
Hmm.
everything, whether it was self-inflicted or not. You get what I'm saying? Because everything we go through, there's a lesson in it.
Yes.
I never take a loss. I always learn a lesson. So
Yes.
the reality is that I'm 40 now, bro. All of this happened when I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And in 10 years, I built a six-figure brand.
Yes.
I've lived on my own income. I had a job for 6 months this year, and the only reason I did that was because business was really slow, and I have
Mm-hmm.
3 kids to take care of. But regardless of that, I had through the whole pandemic and through for 5 years straight, I didn't have one W-2 employment besides Swarm Branding on my credit.
My man. Well, listen, first,
My bad.
and
I know I went on a way crazy tangent.
no. Yeah, I was just telling somebody this last night. It's like people will hit me up, and we will start jogging out about doing a podcast, and they'll say like, yeah, they'll always say the word interview. And it's like,
Mhm.
this isn't an interview. I am going to just listen to you talk. And, if somebody wants to spend 3 hours about talking about one thing and they just go on this long rant, I'm going to listen as long as they got something to say.
Yeah,
Um, I
there's
definitely
always a
want to,
nugget in it.
yeah. And sometimes, like how we were even saying, man, sometimes you got to let people talk to kind of really see where they're at, these personas and the double life that they live. That only lasts so long when you're sitting down with somebody and talking. After a while, they start telling on themselves. I don't even have to ask questions, bro. If I just listen to you long enough, your lies will run out. Uh, I do want to say that I am thankful that you're alive. I'm thankful that whatever made you zig when you wanted to zag, I'm glad you did it, brother. I'm glad that you made a decision in the other direction. Because one, y- like the space that you would leave if you had left, I think definitely. I know you see it now, especially when you see your kids and your family. But like even from me to you, like that,
Hmm.
like the second arc, bro. I remember me and one of my coworkers were literally had the notifications on, and I still remember when J Crush, or no, Twin Crush beat Spartan,
Mm.
and I still remember hearing him go, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Wait, what happened?" He's like, "Dude, you gotta watch it. Spartan just lost." I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, no, he did. He's like, "Dude, he just lost." I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I remember going in my cubicle, bro, whipping out my phone, like, "Oh, he did! Oh my god!" And it was like, and I would just think, "Damn, Mafioso's putting together crack, bro." And
And I appreciate you for saying mafioso, but I always tell people this, man. It was a group effort. I
mhm,
was the facilitator. You get what I'm saying? Like I was the
yeah,
face of like I made all the connections, which I'm good at. I'm good at being able to, hey, this battle sounds dope. What do y'all think? Hey, this timeline sounds dope. What do you guys think? I'm really good at orchestrating stuff and putting pieces together and being able to make things happen. But a lot of the battles, they weren't my idea. A lot of the clothing was an input of everybody. That's what we're doing now with Crew of Gods. So we talked about my intro to dance. We talked about my intro to the world. We talked about what made me want to crump. We talked about leading one round. We talked about the one round dismantling. Now Swarm Brand is live. I started doing the R&B battle because the R&B battle was different. In that season of my life, I was like, I just want to have fun with dance. After being
Mm-hmm.
so serious with Krump from 2006 to 2016, I'm like, I just want to dance to R&B all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like funky R&B, rhythmic R&B, trap, like trap soul, like all of that. Like I was really heavily into R&B, and I grew up on R&B. So me and For Real created the Battle of the R&Bs. And then after creating the Battle of the R&Bs, we did that for like 3 or 4 years. And then I stopped throwing. I did that in 2025, and now next year is 10 years of Swarm Brand.
Yes.
And so guess what I'm bringing back, bro?
You're
The
bringing
art.
back the arc. Yes. 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 Oh my God. I'm so stoked. Yes. Thank
So
you.
hopefully Crew of Gods is now what I'm really focused on. We have a solid 10 people that really want to invest in the arc, really want to invest in growing the Vegas movement. And we have a few people out of state that are kind of like, I consider like For Real and Rowdy Guard as like people that we really consider our brothers from out of state, but they have Vegas's heart. For
Mm-hmm.
Real was one of the very first Crumpers in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And like he led us a lot of the ways because he was able to provide a space for us wherever he went. Wherever
Mm-hmm.
he went to teach as a hip hop teacher, he allowed Crump to take space in that area, especially through his little homies, which I was one of them. So
Mm.
he was a lot of the reason that we got a lot of opportunities in Crump in Vegas with dance studios. And so then you have Rowdy Guard, which he's new gen, but his heart is so pure and he loves the Vegas movement and just wants to help it grow. The arc was not for Mafioso. The arc was not for One Round. The arc was for Las Vegas Crump. And
Yes.
that's really because Vegas, if it wasn't for Vegas Crump, I wouldn't be who I am. That's the bottom line. That's the whole reason for Swarm Brand. I built Swarm Brand because I needed a financial ability to make money, but
Yeah.
I wanted the ability to use some of that money to invest in the cultures that raised me.
Yes. Yeah.
So
That that flow, right? The
consistent
I
giving.
yeah, and as businessmen, I think that there's a beautiful thing, especially if you listen to somebody like a Gary V, Tony Robbins, they'll tell you, with your business, you make a little extra itch on that scratch, just invest it back into your business,
Mm-hmm.
and for somebody like you, even hearing it, your business the business was giving to the community, how you can invest back in. I want to be double down in this thing. And so, yeah, hearing you say, and I mean, now that I kind of have a better look through the fog of what was actually going on over there, it's a it's an important thing that people I feel learn, especially in our community, that when you're being invested into by the community, that you return that investment back in. I'm not saying people should go broke trying
No,
to
definitely not.
appease the movement, but
Yeah.
bro, you just pour a little bit of water on that thing and it blooms in ways
Exactly.
that are just unnatural,
Yeah,
frankly.
and it's crazy because a lot of people like we talk about it when we lab on Thursdays all the time. Like there's some Thursdays where we don't want to come together. We're just tired. Speaking of my
Mhm.
homies, twin Carnage is calling me. Um,
Mhm.
but like we don't want to go lab. But when we get there and we're done, we feel exhilarated. Like we're like, man, that was really exhilarating. Like, man, I needed that. Like we'll say in our chat consistently, when you stretch yourself a little bit and you don't overextend yourself. Stretch is different than overextend. When you stretch
Mhm.
your muscle, it becomes stronger. When you overextend your muscle, you have to recoup, you have to replenish.
Yes.
So there's a fine line between stretch and overextend, and that's where you have to find that balance.
Yes, dude, and dude, that was a I have never heard someone put that together that way, and I could not have thought of a way to improve that anyway.
I
I
appreciate it, man.
like that is such nail on the head because it's insane when you see I mean, I know for Vegas for sure you guys have probably had this. I see it all the time in LA, especially being around Beast. You know, there's these dudes who come from out of the country
Mhm.
and literally couch surf to couch to couch to couch just because they want to be in the scene. They just want to be in the local area because they want to dance that bad. And I'm like, hey, yeah, bro, you guys are really stretching out there, buddy. And then there's other cats that I've known and danced around. You know, they're at every session, they're at every event, but damn, they ain't got a car. They ain't got a couch to sleep on. And that to me is like, man, you're really overextending yourself
Mhm.
to be here tonight. Like as happy as I am to see you, brother, you know, pick up that extra shift at Starbucks, dog. Like it's all right. No one, I mean, at least me, I'm not judging you, dog, at all.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, ultimately, I tell people like people know who Mafioso is. People don't know who Jacques is.
Mm,
Like a lot of people judge me because I don't want people to call me my first name. Excuse me.
bless
Like
you.
I don't want people to call me by my government a lot because if you don't know me personally, like I don't feel like you can really genuinely call my name. Like if I see somebody at work through work, but we work on opposite sides of the building and we see each other in passing once a year, I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna act like I know that person. And I feel like that's how Krump is. Krump is a big ass high school. And so
Yes.
people they hear things through the grapevine and they think they know you. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, man, like the internet stuff, the all of that, I still have to lay my head at like on my pillow at night and I have to make sure my kids sleep and I have to make sure my kids are fed and I have to make sure my wife has the gas in her car that she needs. So this Krump stuff, it don't pay my bills. Like I Krump because I love it. I Krump because it's fun for me. So if it doesn't become fun anymore, I'm not going to do it or I'm not going to be around it. You get what I'm
Facts.
saying? And a lot of
Facts.
people like they take this Krump stuff so serious, like it's like genuinely life to them. They don't have any life outside of it, and that's I remember being there when I started building my career, when I started building my network of people outside of the dance scene, when I started building like my clientele, when I met my wife and we started experiencing things in Vegas and having friends outside of the dance scene, and like now I have kids, now I have a purpose away from Krump. It genuinely made me joyful because
Mm,
before this I didn't. If I didn't dance, I didn't have nothing. And I know that there's so many people that have that and they have to find that stretch and not that overextend regarding their life and their Krump or their life and their street dance. Like I know a lot of people say I'm the same person on the dance floor than I am outside the dance floor. Yes, but unless if you have life insurance, especially if you have kids, if you have a life insurance policy in place, you're traveling consistently and your dance is paying your bills for the next 20, 30 years, because that's how long you have to live. You have to think about retirement.
mm-hmm.
Like I tell people this all the time. I'm like, unless if you're 26 investing in a 401k and you're consistently on tour and you're making six figures a year every year, inflation is a thing.
Yes.
Life insurance
Yes.
is a thing. Like retirement is a thing. My mother went through it recently. You know, like losing a job at 60 something years old and not knowing how you're going to pay your bills for the rest of your life. I don't want to be in that position.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people this all the time. I'm like, Crump is not going to give me the money that I need for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough economy in Crump to give anybody that money. Most people have to go
Ooh.
to the street to get gigs.
Yeah.
Bro, I can talk about this all day. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Wow. Cause yeah, I made a post recently too about the idea of the economics behind Crump, and it definitely
But
fell flat.
we've slightly talked about this
Right.
through comment.
And I, uh, I, I love dance. I feel that it was a proclivity that I just had stepping into it. Um, not that I was like naturally talented, but I was naturally hungry for it once I started doing it. um it just came natural, like the get up to go practice. Nah guys, I'm not going to kick it tonight. I got to go practice. Or
Yeah,
packing up my packing up a pregnant lady, to take me, her, and my kid, unborn child, to a session, because that she was down, but I also had the nerve to even ask if she was down. Like, I had that in me. um
bro. The reality is you have to want to crump.
yes.
Don't nobody do this because they don't want it.
Yes.
The
Facts.
sacrifices we make to be able to crump or just dance in general, street dance. Like think about it. There's probably 75 to 85% of people in street dance that don't make money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest here. Full time, like if you really count the amount of dollars that you have made from street dance in the past 10 years, there's not a lot. Even like, and that's what I mean is like the economy in this dance style is not the best. And it's not to say that we can't make it better, because there's people like Brock that are with KCS that are trying to get Red Bull back involved and get sponsorships and actually get people paid and like put us on a bigger platform, and that is in place. But the reality is when it comes to the Krump economy, when Krumpers start charging the right amount of money that they're worth, is when the Krump economy will grow. Because if you charge $1,000 for a workshop, but you can't get 40 people in your class, then you shouldn't be charging $1,000 for your workshop.
For real. That's for real.
Because as an event host, you need to make an ROI. That's why clubs are so like when a club like think about it, a club atmosphere. When a club books an artist, they pay that artist probably like 50 grand. They're gonna make that times five at the bar that night.
Yes.
So when you think
Yes.
of events or you think of promoters or you think of same thing with like booking concerts, like let's just hypothetical, like let's talk about B2K's tour since they just were on tour.
Yep.
I interviewed Raz B. He
You
said that
did.
their first Millennium tour grossed $5.2 million in sales.
You.
So
You.
that's a 3 month tour. So if you could gross that being the artist, then you can charge that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of crumpers can't gross what they actually try to charge.
Yeah, I will not say any names, but there was a few heads that had hit me up when I decided to do the Morgue Rookies tournament. I let them know, hey, I'm putting this together by myself. I'm coming out of pocket myself. I'm doing this all myself. What
Yeah.
can you do for me? Hey, I'll do you a homie deal and I'm gonna charge X amount. Cool. Next person. Right. Because I knew even myself, you just even being a judge isn't going to bring people in that way. Like,
Mhm.
no one's going to come here to see you just to sit in that chair. And we're
Mhm.
judging rookies. Like, I started kind of going through the mathematics in my head of like, what am I really asking you to do? And let's just talk about an hourly wage. This is what you're trying to charge me for, an hourly wage? I just saw your
Mhm.
recent footage, bro. I wouldn't pay nowhere near that to watch you battle for 10 minutes. No, thank you. No, thank you. No,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I even well, let me rewind too. I love the fact that you gave so much love to the team that was around one round. That you gave
Yeah.
and that you showed that your appreciation and gave the flowers for the people that was like, yo, this wasn't just my idea, this was a collective.
Mhm.
And so even on this idea with Krump, I like to think sometimes like, yo, what if we stuck ourselves on an island with no other resources but ourselves, right? Like we couldn't get Nike. We couldn't get a Target there.
Mhm.
Like, would we have the sense to build a store and put all of our own stuff in there and we wear all of our own clothes? We wear our own shoes. Why,
Yeah.
and the humbleness I think that would set in is there are people who are, this won't land very gently, I know, but some people are better teachers to the style. Doesn't mean that you're a better dancer, because
Hmm.
I've taken classes from phenomenal dancers, but their classes stunk. Like it sucked bad. Like it was more of them just being up there talking about themselves for 35 minutes. And then we learned a half baked combo that they would literally say, "Oh, I made this up today." Like, you really just said that out loud? Like, you made this today? Like, you didn't spend any time on this and I paid for this and I'm here now, like, waiting to, okay, cool, I guess. Um, yeah, the economy of Krump, I know can change when people really start taking some of these things seriously, as far as, the I hate the fact that we have to resort, and I mean I know it's the nature of the beast, but having to resort to seeking out sponsors to boost this thing up. But I know
Well,
that's
let's take Crump out of it. Talk about business. Let's talk about Crump as an entity if we're thinking about it as a business.
mm-hmm,
Me personally, I can only do so much
mm-hmm,
as an entity myself. I'm gonna have to pull from resources. I'm gonna have to pull from people. If I want to get better at Swarm, I have to have a team. Then after having a team, if I want to scale even more as a business, say I hit mid six figures, hypothetically, say your business hits 500 grand in a year revenue, and you got $100,000 in profit, meaning your business is profitable. You're showing that you're investing in the economy. You have a couple employees, but to get to that next level, you have to get a loan,
yeah,
business funding. That would give you the money that you need to hire employees, to pay for marketing, to expand your reach. So when you think of Crump as a business, or just in general, you think of Crump as a subculture, it's going to have to start reaching out to other things to get the assistance it needs, no matter what.
yeah,
I didn't start growing Crump in Las Vegas outside of the people, like the probably 50 Crumpers that we had, until I started teaching at these local dance studios.
mm,
One of them was called Summerlin Dance Academy. Started teaching at their monthly they had summer camps. Little white kids. Stomp one and two. Stomp one and it was the most boring thing in the world. But you know those kids, I follow them on social media till this day, and they always tell me that I changed their life. And
yes,
they went to the Arc and performed at the Arc, and they stepped into a Crump battle, and they actually took the culture serious. Like, it's, if I never did that, there would have been another Crumper that would have, but
yes,
ultimately, most people's experience of Crump would have been different.
yes,
You know, if Todd Eyes never went and was on the amount of movies he was on, if Lil C never went and was a judge at So You Think You Could Dance, if Miss Prissy never did the corporate gigs and the industry stuff she did, everybody plays a part, man. That's the
yeah,
reality of it. But we have to pull on our sponsors to be able
yeah,
to make it. Unless if we can fund it ourselves. If we have seven-figure businesses to be able to fund it the way we want, then yeah. But half of the Crump economy, we just talked about it.
yeah,
So shift that mindset a little bit, just a nugget from me, because I understand the independent mindset. I'm
yeah.
very independent, but we have to, eventually I'm going to go to a bank and get a loan
Mm-hmm.
or a credit card.
Like I think where my opinion truly stems from because kind of to a point of what you said, because I wholly believe that no idea is truly our own, right? Who was it? I think it was Rick Rubin had this saying that, if an idea enters your mind and if you don't act on it, that same idea will travel to the next person. That it's almost as if it's this thing that's just in the air waiting to be acted upon.
Hmm.
And I just worry, my biggest worry with it is that some business, some brand will come and they'll make an offer that we just can't refuse. I know that they're out there. And that Krump will then, the idea of it will then be captured by them, and it will change into something that I don't recognize. That the events will change into something that I don't quite remember. And not saying that the Krump community doesn't need a good change, right? And it doesn't need a good plot twist to make the movie just that much better. Um, I do like, and I don't know exactly who it all was that ended up. I mean, I know New Era was one that was a brand sponsor of the Kill Crump event that had an issue. Um, I know that there was a lot that went on and they had a list of reasons. And some of them that I saw was like, bro, that's a no brainer. Like, how did you let that happen at the event? And like, how do you drop the ball on that? So,
There was obviously miscommunication. Ultimately, there's nothing that we could do about it now. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, I think he's working on trying to get Red Bull back. I think that's
yeah.
just I think. But reality is that without some sort of like major sponsorship, it's really hard to make things happen personally.
Mm-hmm.
Only reason I was able to make the arc happen that many times is because the very first arc we profited a pretty decent amount. So the second one we had money already to invest, and then the second one didn't profit, and that's when the third one went down because we had no money. It takes
Mm-hmm.
money to make money, man. Bottom line.
Yes.
So, but how much longer do we have, bro?
Brother, I could sit here with you all night. Do you have a
Oh,
heart
okay.
out?
It's not that I have a heart out. It's that I'm gonna try to get my kids to bed in a few, and then
Okay.
I got a couple other things I gotta do before the end of the night.
Well, my brother, listen. Let's go ahead and let's play us a little game.
Uh oh.
I have a new tradition that I do here on the smoking section before I ever decide to wrap these up. You know what? And if anything, let's leave some space for a second episode,
Of
right?
course, no question
And
about it.
because definitely, dude, especially with this whole like, what could Crump take and what could we use? I didn't
Yeah,
even get to talk to you really about rollerblading, and
yeah,
I definitely
bro.
want to
I
hear more
have
about that.
25 years of talking that I could do. So ultimately, I'm 40, man. I started this journey at 15, like when I
Man,
first started doing it. So ultimately, and I don't do it to toot my own horn. I just been doing this for a long time, so I got wisdom. So let's do
m-
this game, and then we'll schedule a second episode.
my man. So this rapid fire, quick shot, couple questions.
Okay.
Let's try to keep them one word. I know we might have to expand on some of them, right?
Okay.
But just as quick as they can come off the top of your head. Are you ready?
All right.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Favorite way to unwind?
Smoking a blunt.
Yes. Favorite sound?
Snare.
Mountains or beaches?
Beaches.
Early morning walks or a late night stroll?
Late night stroll.
One place you can go to anywhere in the world. Where are you going?
Paris.
Your deepest fear?
To let my kids down.
Your biggest regret?
Nothing.
And describe yourself in 3 words.
determined, genuine, human.
And if you could rewind the clock 25 years and stare at young Mafioso in the eyes, what is a piece of advice that you would have for him?
Don't worry about whatever the fuck everybody else got to say. Chase after your dreams.
My man. On that note, brother, we'll wrap this up. The smoking section, Mafioso, brother, thank you so much for being here. We'll be in contact again about some more stuff. Do you want to drop any of your ads or anything like that?
And I just appreciate the conversation, bro. If y'all want to follow me at Murder Mafioso on all social media platforms. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Swarm the Culture, and go to swarmtheculture.com and purchase some gear, man. You can check my podcast. Obviously, bro, if you ever in Vegas, I know I do in-person episodes. So if you're ever in Vegas, make sure you let me know. We can hit an episode in.
Absolutely, brother. I'll be messaging you soon.
All right, man. Y'all be safe. Thank you.
All righty, brother. You guys, that was the wonderful, the powerful, and the amazing mafioso of Swarm Brand, of the Vegas Krump movement. You heard it here first, and hopefully for not the last time. What a great conversation. And one thing, this one's I'm going to try to get through this one without getting choked up. Men's mental health is a particular topic of mine that I believe shouldn't just be a topic. I believe that it deserves more than a month to celebrate and bring awareness to it. You're aware of your awareness. You're aware that you're aware of the space around you. I think we need to take a harder look and a deeper dive on the struggles not only men are facing, but everyone. The he's, she's, they's, them, all of us. We need to take a deeper dive, and let's not get stuck in the preloaded, prefabricated answers when I ask you, how are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm good. Good. Yeah, good. All right, see you later. No. When I ask you, how are you doing? Tell me, how are you doing? And if you're watching this, and when you watch this, if that's you, if you need someone to ask you how you're really doing, I'm asking, and I want to know. You can hit me up. Send me a message. I talk to anybody and everybody about whatever it is that they feel that they need. On that note, I hope you guys have a good day. Hope you have an amazing week, month, year in life. Until next time, Big Corpse, stay motivated.